Hi, I'm Myall, coach educator here at Football New South Wales. In this video I'm just going to talk about how I like to use a 3-5-2 to try and get through the opposition with the ball. Now in a 3-5-2 you have a numerical advantage at the back most of the time, and so it's mostly about how you can use that to manipulate the opposition to be able to create spaces for yourself. So in this one, what I tend to like to do is, when we've got this 3-5-2, is try and split these centre backs a little bit wider to try and stretch and try and open up those opposition. Now, it's really important how you use your wing backs in this. So ultimately you want your wing backs to affect, this is in assuming we're playing against a 4-3-3, you want to use your wing backs to affect their wingers or wide forwards as much as you can. So we don't want them starting right up in the top line, because then potentially the full-backs just take them on and that releases the wide players onto our centre-backs, which isn't what we want. So they need to stay deep enough that they affect these guys, so that the ball can go on the outside, and also that we don't bring their full-backs with us, or if they do bring the full-backs with us, that's absolutely superb, because then we'll just play into this channel here where we've got a 1v1. So chances are the full-backs won't follow them to this sort of level. So as I say, staying in it to a level where you can affect the wide forwards but not be marked by the full-backs. So once we've got our wing backs affecting the wide attackers so that they can't go straight away to press the ball, and that is, say for example, what a lot of them will do is they'll potentially try and get in front of this guy and step across, or maybe even mark and bring the number 9 across to try and pinch the ball and maybe the far side winger in. Now that leaves us with a 3v2 or 4v2 if we're thinking about the goalkeeper as potentially someone that can help. So we should be able to get the ball out using one of these guys. So whether that's recycling around and trying to get it to the far side, where this guy can then step into the midfield and create an overload in there, so that we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 players in the midfield against their 3. That's the ideal sort of scenario there that we want to try and get to. Now, potentially that's relying on the opposition doing what we want. If the opposition manage to stay back and say, you know what, we're going to let you 3 have it and we're going to try and make you play. So once we move it across, they might just come across like so without putting too much pressure on the ball. Now, what we would then need to do is start talking about what we use with our midfield. So what I like to do is, with our ball side midfield, is just to try and come underneath the ball a little bit to try and affect their number 9, the first bit of pressure. So if they're just blocking us and they're trying to prevent these sorts of passes in here, then what we can do is, I like to play with 2 sort of holders when we play a 3-5-2, just to try and release those wing backs on a little bit. So what we can do is, our ball side 6 or pivot in here can come in to try and affect the ball in between, the number 9 in these sorts of areas. That then can open up this sort of channel in here for our highest midfield player to try and get the ball. And again, if they find themselves marked out of the game by this one, then they can just keep going into these areas, and then again the channel should open up for our number 9 in there. So that's just 2 ways that I like to try and move the opposition around. So either making the most of the numerical advantage if they're looking to press us, or if they're not looking to press us, using the midfield rotation around to open up channels for balls into our attacking players.